Alright, this is episode 25 of Talk Wrestling here on No DQ and MySpace, and of course the YouTube page, and I'm going to get to you guys in just one second. Today we're going to talk about the 2008 WWE Draft. That's going to be the end of the show. We're going to talk about Night of Champions, and we're going to get to your questions, but I have a couple of things to say. It wouldn't be Talk Wrestling without a rant from Jeff Meacham, of course. I realized I made a couple mistakes last show. First of all, Kurt Angle was in fact the WCW champion. However, Power Pro Wrestling, the championship of that company, was not a world title. Don't sit there and tell me, well, that counts as a world. No. Doesn't. 4-time WWE champion. 2-time TNA champion. The NWA title that he won at Sacrifice wasn't even a championship because the NWA had revoked the status of the title from TNA. So that was pretty much just a belt and went, ooh, look what I got. So that's 6 so far. 1-time WCW champion. 7. 1-time World Heavyweight champion. 8. 8 championships. World championships. Yes, he was tag team champion. But we're talking about singles titles. If we're talking about tag titles, then he's got 10. Because he has WWE tag title with Chris Benoit and a TNA tag title with Sting. So that's 10. He's still not a 12-time champion. So, I don't know what TNA is getting that from. And the whole U.S. title thing. I blame that on Vince McMahon and WWE. I don't blame myself for that. They have trained me very well to forget Chris Benoit. I apologize to any fan of Chris Benoit that watches this show. Yes, Benoit did defend the U.S. title against JBL at WrestleMania 22, and he lost. And yes, Chris Benoit did defend the U.S. title against MVP at WrestleMania 23. He won that one. So I apologize to the Chris Benoit fans. But honestly, I've been very well trained by WWE. I am one of their lapdogs, apparently. Because I forgot about Chris Benoit's title matches. I did. So I apologize for that. With that, let's get to your questions. Alright, this one's from Michael. When will we see Ron Killings and Chris Harris finally come on live in WWE? Okay. Bring the camera over here. I want you to see this, seriously. Look how he spelled this. Look at this. When, with no H, will Ron Killings and Chris Harris finally come, C-U-M, on live in WWE? Oh. Okay, C-U-M, dude, is when you ejaculate. Okay? It's when semen comes out of your penis, okay? Oh, God. C-O-M-E. That's how you spell cum like you're trying to use it. And when is spelled with an H. W-H-E-N. Oh, please message me back about this. I'm going to answer your question on the air, just for the hell of it. Killings and Harris have both done dark matches. Their debut is as of yet unknown because they don't know what they're going to do with them. I'd like to see Ron Killings go back to TNA and Chris Harris go back to TNA. I don't think either one of them is going to be properly utilized by WWE. I think they're both better off with the Jarretts, with TNA. They were better utilized there. Killings wasn't happy there, whatever. He was a bigger star there in TNA than he ever was in WWE. Yes, he had the WWE name behind him, but in TNA he was a world champion. 2 times. So, and Chris Harris was a multi-time tag team champion. I just like C-U-M. Oh boy. Grammar lessons for everybody that watches this show. Free. We'll do a grammar session on one of these shows. I swear to God we will. Oh. Alright, these are from The D. Okay, first of all, dude, you sent me 10 questions. And then you sent me more emails after that. I will get to your questions. Do not send me 10 at a time. I'm deleting this email after I answer the first question. So, send me your questions again. I hope you saved the page. I hope you saved the sent page. I mean, it's more than 14 days old, so hopefully you saved it or whatever. But I'm not going to answer 10 questions from one person at one time. That's just not fair to the 220 emails I have in my inbox from other people. I have to get to everybody once. I will do that. Of all the questions you asked, the D, I'm going to pick out my favorite, which is, what is your opinion on dirt sheets these days? Do you think they kind of take the surprise aspect out of wrestling? Working for a dirt sheet website, I can't, I don't hate it, because I like the fact that I have a job, even though I don't get paid. But I get free lunches, so that's cool. I don't think they take a surprise out of it anymore, because honestly, people make the choice to read the dirt sheets. People make the choice to go to these websites like NoDQ or The Observer or The Torch or whoever. Everybody makes a choice to go to these websites or read these newsletters or subscribe to these newsletters. It's everybody's individual choice. If they want to read them, they can read them. That's their problem. WWE can't control what the dirt sheets say because there's leaks. TNA can't control because there's leaks. I'm dropping shit everywhere. No, I don't think dirt sheets are a problem in wrestling. I don't think they are an issue. I think that if people... Thank you. I think if people want to read them, that's their choice. But if they don't, then they can be surprised on TV. There you go. Thank you very much, the D. Your 9 questions are now deleted. This is from Mattman. What do you think of the current quality of entrance music in WWE at the moment? I have to say it's quite poor. Music-wise, WWE seems to be turning into what WCW once was. WWE used to have music written for each individual character, and therefore it suited them perfectly. Now it seems they just pick a generic rock track and give it to a wrestler. Jeff Hardy's music used to get the energy going, and while his new tune is cool, it has little to do with the Jeff Hardy character. Same to Randy Orton. And in fact, the only new entrance music that has any purpose is Jillian Hall's. Just curious as to your thoughts on this subject. Kind regards, Matt from Derby, England. First of all, Jeff Hardy's old theme, the Hardy Boys' old theme, is a generic tone. They use that on Spike TV all the time, which is funny because WWE is on Spike TV anymore. They use that to do commercials for their action movies all the time on Spike TV. So that wasn't written for Jeff Hardy or Matt Hardy. That was a generic rock tone that WWE took. His new one, I don't like it as much as the old one, obviously. Same with Randy Orton's. I love the Burning My Light. I love that song. It was a great song. It was written for Orton. This new one, Voices in My Head, I guess is what it's called. I'm not a big fan of it. It doesn't really suit the Orton character very well. Jillian's does, though. Jillian's is very obnoxious, like Jillian. Her voice is obnoxious, like her character. And it does suit her very well. You're absolutely right on that part. Overall, I think the quality of music's good. You know, Triple H still has both his King of Kings and his Time to Play the Game. John Cena has his. Most of the guys have their themes that they've had since they started in WWE. Big Show's is a little bit tweaked now, a little bit different. Kennedy's is better, I think, now, with the faster tempo. Shelton's is, you know, whatever. They're both good. But I think overall WWE's music quality is doing pretty good. That's just my personal opinion. And it's my show, so it can be my opinion. Blue Rain, a big fan of the show. He emails me all the time. I was wondering what you think of Buff Bagwell. I met him in February of 2007. Buff is a tremendous friend of the show. He is a longtime friend of mine, friend of Aaron's, friend of everybody on the show. With XMV and Ringside Insanity we did with him. We actually were going to do a show with him on July 20th. Let me check the date now that I think about it. Yeah, July 20th out in Bakersfield, but Aaron, I guess, is going out of town that weekend, so we are unable to do that with him. I'm still trying to get together with him when he's in town. He's going to be flying to LAX that day to do the show that night in Bakersfield, so hopefully I can get together with him and we can, you know, grab a drink or whatever, and we can try to tape something for later on in the year, hopefully. We'll see what happens. Buff's a great guy. He was a tremendous help to us in the early days of the audio show. We had a particularly memorable show. The same show, we had an hour-long interview with Vince Russo where I pretty much forgave him for taking out Hogan like he did. And we had Buff Bagwell, myself, and Mike, my friend Mike, the old host of XMV with me, prank call Matt Boone. Hi, Matt. I hope you're watching. That was a fun day. I still enjoyed talking about it. It was great. Anyway. I'm going to be in so much trouble for this show. People are going to hate me. I don't care. I don't care. Let's see. Ace of Hearts. Oh, by the way, there you go. Just for you guys. My nose itches. I have allergies. It's a desert. There's allergies everywhere. I'm going to itch my nose. I'm going to sneeze. It's going to happen. Nobody, as I said before, is pointing a gun to your head and forcing you to watch this show. You don't like my nose itch? edit it out, fast forward, I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Ace of Hearts. Jeff, I was wondering about Brock Lesnar. Is he ever going to come to TNA Wrestling? And I heard that Sabu and the Sandman have retired. Is that true? To my knowledge, they have not. Sandman still wrestles on the East Coast independently. Sabu, I'm not sure about Sabu. I'm pretty sure he's still wrestling. As far as Brock coming to TNA, he is going to milk every dime out of this UFC thing that he can. And then once that falls through, because Brock Lesnar, he'll go to TNA. I think I think you want to see that big match at Kurt Angle that everybody's talking about. If WWE lets him out of that contract that he is still locked up in, from what I understand. Why is the camera sideways? What's going on? Whoa, dude. We'll see if Brock Lesnar comes to TNA. But as far as Sandman and Sabu retiring, to my knowledge, they have not. This one's from Eric. Speaking of which, with the new WWE logo that may be coming out with all the revamping they're doing, that's the rumor. He's asking about that. Why did they have to change WWE from WWF to WWE in the first place? And they made a scratch logo that's a WWE instead of the WWF. The reason they had to change their name was a suit with the World Wildlife Fund for Nature that commenced in, the late 90s. And it went all the way up to 2002. And basically, the World Wildlife Fund had accused WWE, the World Wrestling Federation, of marketing their name worldwide by establishing WWF.com as their domain name, which was a violation of the agreement they made with the World Wildlife Fund in 1994. WWE appealed the situation, but by the time the appeals would have gone through, it would have done damage to the product to try to, revamp everything. So Vince just said, fuck it, change the name. Unfortunately, the name change has resulted in editing of DVDs and videos and releases and everything over the last 6 years, to the point where, when you watch WrestleManias or you watch the Royal Rumbles or you watch whatever, they can't say WWF. They can say World Wrestling Federation, but they can't say WWF. And pictures, there's a classic one of Hogan tearing his shirt before WrestleMania 1 with the old WWF 1985 belt that has the letters WWF written on it instead of the logo. They had to edit out the whole phrase WWF off that belt in that picture because it was a violation of the agreement made in the lawsuit. It's so stupid. So stupid. But they did what they had to do to avoid more lawsuits. They ended up winning a lawsuit at one point with them, and they got to keep some of their merchandise with WWF on it, but it was mainly superficial stuff. It wasn't anything big. So hopefully that will change. Hopefully they get to use the WWF name again on their videos. I'd like to see them, now that Aaron has the WrestleMania 1-20 box set, I don't want them to release WrestleMania with the WWF edited back in, because that would piss his parents off because they bought that box set for him. But I'd like to see them do that. I'd like to see them re-release stuff with the WWF edited back in. Alright. So the draft occurred this week on Monday Night Raw. 3-hour show. Longest show ever. And I feel that the draft this year really didn't deliver. Up to expectations like it has in the past. You had Mysterio go from SmackDown to Raw. Mysterio has been a SmackDown mainstay for 6 years, and he was one of SmackDown's biggest superstars. I think moving him away from SmackDown was a mistake. I think that will only benefit Raw. But I don't think SmackDown will benefit. SmackDown is not going to benefit very well from this draft, from what I see. Other than getting an announcer in Jim Ross, which is very beneficial to them, and getting 2 top WWE Raw faces, Mr. Kennedy and Triple H. Kennedy going back to SmackDown is kind of like, okay. But my take, I said this to Josh on an IM the other night. My take on that is Vince sees Kennedy as a star, but not as a WWE champion. The World Championship is kind of lower on the prestige ladder than the WWE title. So for Kennedy to be World Champion, I think is okay with Vince. But WWE title, the main title, I don't think Vince will sit well with that. I think that's why Kennedy's moving back to SmackDown. Triple H going to SmackDown is strictly for ratings for SmackDown, to get them ratings, because SmackDown's ratings are shitty, their quality of work is shitty, and just everything about that show is terrible right now, except for Edge and Batista, and even that's stretching it. But Batista's on Raw now. Batista's a Raw superstar after John Cena beat Edge via countout. So Batista's a Raw guy, and he may win the world title at Night of Champions. We're going to Night of Champions in a little bit. Jeff Hardy is going to SmackDown from Raw, and we thought we were going to see a Hardy Boys reunion, but then Matt Hardy was drafted to ECW. So, we'll see. The Hardy Boys are now on SmackDown and ECW, respectively. Jeff on SmackDown, Matt on ECW. But they have the title exchange. They have the talent exchange. Title exchange, wow. So, we may see the Hardy Boys, or the Hardys, team up once again. We'll see what happens there. CM Punk is now part of Raw. That won't be good for ECW. They've lost their two top stars, CM Punk and Kane. They've both gone to Raw. Kane's ECW champion right now, and CM Punk is Mr. Money in the Bank. He's arguably their biggest workhorse. And for them to lose both those guys and only pick up one guy in Matt Hardy, very unfair to ECW. This draft was very lopsided toward Raw, as usual. Michael Cole and Jim Ross switching. Oh, this is bad. This is bad. Michael Cole sucks. Sucks. He always sucks. He sucked since he debuted. I can't stand it. The fact that they still have him around makes my head physically hurt. It physically hurts my body and my head. And having Jim Ross call the B Show is ridiculous. Jim Ross has been a mainstay on Raw off and on since 1993. 15 years he's been with Raw, off and on. He called a SmackDown here and there, but mostly he's been on Raw. And that's ridiculous to split him and the King up. Michael Cole and the King were a good team at one point on SmackDown. But and Jim Ross and Mick Foley have potential to be a good team. But I don't like the switching answers. I don't like it at all. And Umaga, of course, that was the expected one, went to SmackDown. After MVP beat Tommy Dreamer via pinfall to give the pick for SmackDown. I'm not surprised at that. Umaga, they've been talking about him going to SmackDown for months, and it's finally happened. So that leads into Night of Champions, with everything being shaken up. Kane versus the Big Show. You have the Raw guy versus the SmackDown guy for the ECW title. I smell 2000 in there somewhere. WWF versus WCW for the ECW title. Just saying. Big Show will win, and I think stay on ECW. That's what I see happening. Hardcore Holly and Cody Rhodes versus Ted DiBiase Jr. and to be announced. The big rumor is that it's going to be D.H. Smith. I think Cody is going to turn on Hardcore Holly and join up with DiBiase and D.H. Smith to form the Young Stable, the second generation stable, and we'll see other people join that as well, like Carlito, possibly Natalya, if she becomes Divas Champion or not. I don't think she will, though. I think whoever her opponent's going to be, I wasn't supposed to mention that match, was I? Son of a bitch. Oh well. As of this taping, we don't know who the opponent is going to be. Let's put it that way. But I have a pretty good guess it's going to be Michelle McCool. I think Michelle McCool is going to be the new Divas Champion. So, the World Heavyweight Championship, Edge versus Batista. I think Edge will keep the championship and remain on SmackDown while Batista challenges the champion on Raw. We'll get to that in a second. Matt Hardy will retain the U.S. title and keep it on ECW as he beats Chavo Guerrero. Finlay and Hornswoggle will probably win the tag team titles against Morrison and Miz. Mickie James is going to retain the title against Katie Lee Burchill. Jericho will retain the Intercontinental Championship against whoever he ends up facing, because they will be in there. Every title's on the line. And John Cena will regain the WWE title from Triple H. That way he stays on Raw with the WWE title, and Triple H will challenge the World Heavyweight Champion on SmackDown at some later point. That's it for Night of Champions. Next show, big show, already in the can and ready to be put up. It'll be put up later next week. Tara Reynolds is on the show. very excited about having her be on the show. We did a great interview. We had a lot of fun during the interview. We had some outtakes that were going to be on the website, I'm sure. Hopefully Aaron will put those up. It's gonna be a lot of fun, I promise you that. So tune in next time for Terry Runnels, and again, this show is just my opinion, and we'll see you next time.